Hello, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the DKM podcast. You know, you got your boys here, Danny, Marcos, and our returning guest today, Kenny. Kenny, it's so great to welcome you back. Tell me, how was the trip of Uganda?
Uganda? Dude, I
Yeah.
saw flying monkeys and pigs digging holes. Like, geez, bro, Uganda was insane. There was like war out there and
And so, what was your purpose there? I thought you were doing a diplomatic mission. Were
um
you?
no.
Did you see Phil?
Oh, you were.
Yes. Phil, I saw.
Fill your mouth with my nuts. Got him.
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
A good one. Good one.
I love that meme
Ow!
format.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny is back. I know that he's sort of like what's the best way to describe? He's like Tuxedo Man from Sailor Moon. He just shows up, doesn't really do anything, and then later everyone's like,
Pretty
"Is
much.
he ever gonna come back?" Yeah, he does. Don't worry. But yeah, so we're back. We're back. How are you guys doing today?
I've never seen
How's
Sailor
everything?
Moon.
You never seen Sailor Moon, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Sailor Moon was like one of the first animes I used to watch back in the day. I used to be all over that shit.
I was more into Yu Yu Hakusho.
I never watched Yu Yu Hakusho.
Ah, you see how the turns
Yeah.
have tables? Come on.
Well, to be fair though, like Sailor Moon was still being aired at like Cartoon Network. It wasn't like on that Toonami block
Yeah,
yet.
that's what I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho on.
Yeah, my experience with Toonami was definitely around when the Dragon Ball Z thing was taking off and stuff. I can't think of any other anime that I saw on Toonami aside from Dragon Ball Z and Death
You didn't
Note.
watch Naruto? I was big on Toonami.
Yeah, you're right. Naruto was there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I can't think of anything on top of my head. I know a lot of people tell me like they watch like a lot of anime on Toonami, but I mainly remember. No, there was also Dot Hack. I do remember a spin-off series of Dot Hack also being in there, but that shit aired at like 3 in the morning, so that was a mission and a half.
All I know is that Cartoon Network knows exactly what they're doing. They got cartoons for kids and adults, and then in Adult Swim, they got cartoons for kids and adults, but
Pretty much.
but darker.
Yeah, but now officially with the TV warning on it.
There you go. Exactly.
But yeah. So anyways, I guess we should go ahead and get started. So I've been getting to this rabbit hole lately, guys. I've been doing this thing. Have you guys ever heard of Gacha games before?
Yes.
Yup.
Okay. Have you guys ever played any of them?
Yep. You know them.
It depends. Are we talking about phone games? Are we talking about
I classify anything that has gacha mechanics.
Okay, so Destiny and Destiny 2. Got it.
I'm gonna take your word for it. I've never to this day I have never touched Destiny.
Here, so I can give you a simple definition. A gacha
Modern
game.
Warfare.
Go ahead. All right. Look, a gacha game is a genre of video games that implement the gacha or toy vending machine mechanic. Similar to loot boxes in video games, gacha games induce players to spend in-game currency to receive a random virtual item. The game mechanism is also increasingly used in Chinese and Korean games. So I don't think that random mechanic is used in Modern Warfare, though, because they tell you exactly what you're going to get when you spend your money.
Oh, that's true. But,
Right.
All right, so then Black Ops 3. Got it.
There was loot box in that game? Oh, yeah, there was.
Yeah,
Technically
big
with
time.
the-
I
Gobble
remember that Advanced Warfare had something like that. Where it's
Yeah,
like they
but-
give you a box,
but
you
it was
open it, and it's like,
free.
oh, it's a piece of armor.
But it was free.
Yeah, they're free, right?
Yeah, you'd get it from playing the game. You'd just like while you're playing the game, mid game, it'll be like supply drop, and then you can get up to
So
like
you don't
3
have
or
to
4.
spend
Oh.
But can you spend extra money on
Like
it?
Right?
Siege?
No, yeah, kind of like Siege, where you would get it. No, but Siege has the randomness. You'd get it from doing like objectives or killing people. Or
No, I'm talking
dying.
about in Siege, you get a random pack to open up, but to open it up, there's a chance to open it up that's there, and that chance increases the more you play. It's still a
Yeah.
random item. It's still a random item. You have no idea what's inside, but everyone's going for that ice camo or whatever is in that pack. But all I'm saying is like, yeah, it's just random elements that you have no control over. It's a vending machine of sorts. So I played a good amount. I didn't know Destiny had RNG stuff like that.
Oh, big time.
Here's my thing about like with gacha games. What I find so fascinating is that you're not like, when you, let's say for example, like what I don't classify as gacha mechanics, I don't count like Fortnite for example, because it's purely cosmetic. You put money into the storefront, you get a currency exchange for it, and then you buy the skin that you want. I do think that the storefront does revolve, right? Like it doesn't always stay the same.
Right.
Okay, so that was like the big issue with games like when the Crash Nitro Kart remaster game came out, where it was like first they didn't have microtransactions, then they added back in, and now it's like the storefront is constantly changing every like 6 hours or something like that, and now it forces people to be like, shit, I really want this skin for Crash, but it's only available for another 2 hours. I could keep playing the game until get enough Wumpa coins in order to buy that skin, but by that time you might not have enough time to actually purchase what you want.
Right.
So yeah, I just been really fascinated because it's like I don't get like these gacha games. Like when I went on Twitter and Facebook and people were talking about that Fire Emblem gacha game that came out. What's the gameplay? I told people, I said, like, every time you guys post anything, it's like, hey guys, check out this pool I got, and I'm just like, it's a fucking PNG file. Like, what the fuck is it to get so excited about?
Well,
right?
it's much like how we have the disdain for loot box mechanics in sports games. Not going to say exactly what I mean by that, not trying to name any names here, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I'm talking about, or what I'm talking about. But it's that whole
the FIFA game, right?
The Nimba, no, no. Those things. The
one with the not Mario Strikers game. So
yeah, those. But like I think it's the same mechanic where you're still playing the same game. It's just honestly, unless it's multiplayer, there isn't much to like anything extra that these gacha mechanic stuff gives you. Much like with a lot of mobile games too. But like you don't consider cosmetics, even though they're RNG based, loot box based, as a gacha mechanic.
I mean, at that point, I don't think like with clothing items is that big of a deal. But then again, like there have been people who have like spent a lot of money because they want a particular skin, for example.
Right.
Where it's like, how many like YouTube videos I've seen because we brought up Rainbow Six Siege where people say like buying 500 alpha packs and hopefully getting black eye skins. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like their entire
If
shtick.
that's the case, then CS:GO is one big old gacha mechanic.
That's a good example right there because it's like when you're playing CS:GO, you get a crate and then you buy a key to get a chance that could get you a rare skin.
Yep.
So it's like that's what I'm talking about, like with gacha mechanics. You're not like when people say that's like I was watching this video by Gikuru who talked about like how he spent like $1,000 on fake Go just to get a Stallful, which is fucking hilarious. But he was reading like this article. It says like these articles will come out saying like person spends $4,000 to get X character. But that's the thing though, he didn't spend $4,000 to get the character. No. He spent $4,000 on chances to get the character.
Yep. Right.
But
so
you could say correctly that once he got it and it cost him $4,000, well, he did get it for $4,000, and that's the sad part. And that sucks.
Yeah, but that's the thing about like how rarity is determined. Like there was this great CES. I forgot what the thing is called. Like basically the game. It's a presentation where like game developers go on stage and they talk about like how we made this and stuff like that.
Right.
A woman was discussing how like people would get excited over a skin even if it looks fucking ugly as shit, only because it's rare. Like they don't even care if it's literally a turd. If the turd is classified as epic rare, they will lose their fucking shit over.
Wait a minute. Gacha mechanics, vending machine stuff. It's only a chance every time you open up one of these things. Trading card games are gacha games. Jesus.
Yeah, essentially. That's exactly
found the
point.
rabbit hole.
I got it.
Yep. It goes back to fucking trading cards, and that actually brings back my my initial point. So I finally give Duel Links a try. I've always wanted to give Duel Links a try because everybody was talking about it, and that was back when like when Pokemon Go came out, everyone was getting nostalgic with Pokemon,
right.
And then Duel Links came out, and they were like marketing to the 2000s kids who grew up with like the original anime, and they want to like get back into the card game, but they don't know what a fucking pendulum summon is, so they kind of like dumb it back down for me. And man, like, dude, when these people say that like gacha games look like aesthetically and like UI wise, they're designed to be like fucking casinos.
They're supposed to be,
because
Yep.
dude, when you open up the first thing you see, there's like all these different prompts and currencies and this shit and that shit, and I'm just like, my brain is getting overloaded. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck am I looking at half the goddamn time? Like it's fucking bonkers up in there, man.
It's on purpose too. You gotta activate the happy chemical receptors, or the things
Exactly.
that help you produce happy chemicals in your brain.
That's why you make shiny things in video games, so that people buy shiny things and make them happy.
One thing about
it's no longer back then where
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's like no longer back then where it's like, you know, you grinded to get the particular weapon skin. You just have to show off to people, say, look, I got fucking lucky. I got the rare weapon skin that everybody
But
wants.
it's much like most things in life, even with electricity, it's path of least resistance. It is what it is. People prefer to take the path of least resistance. A river will do the same thing, right? Water will flow to the path of least resistance. You're gonna tell me, hey, I went through some work to get Damascus in Modern Warfare. You know, that means getting gold for every gun in the game, every base gun in the game, right? But what if what if Activision says, hey, for $100, right, you can completely gold every single gun in a weapon class. To get Damascus, you're gonna need about $1,000. But if you buy it all the gold packs at once, it'll cost you $800. So people prefer to do that in contrast to actually putting in the work. That's why they just rather what's the word? They rather not do the hard work to get those tough skins. Look at Halo. All the cool skins Halo had that you need to do challenges for, but no one wanted to do them because, well, video game hard.
Yeah, but it's
much.
more rewarding that way.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah, like I was reading this thread on Reset Era, which, man, you know what? Like, I know that Reset Era gets a lot of flack because it's basically NeoGAF 2.0 but worse. And I was laughing my ass off because I was reading this thread and I was like, man, there's all these interesting perspectives and things like that and why people play these games. But like half the people that are commenting are all fucking banned, and all I could think is like, why is everyone banned on this thing? But either way, I was reading this thread and I was like, I just Googled it one night. I was just bored at my job and I was like typing in like, why do people play gacha games? And I was like, why do people play them? Like, I don't get them. Like, what's the gameplay behind them? Because all I see is people talking about fucking pools all day. And people are just saying like, well, these games are like super mind numbing. You tap on the screen, you see shiny prompts come up and blah, 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 blah. And I thought about that for a second. And as I was playing like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I was double tapping the shit out of my screen, fucking like droning my mind out. I was like that. Normally I'd be like, man, this is fucking boring, but I keep coming back to it.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like these, like the computer battles, like maybe because I haven't done the PvP yet because I don't feel comfortable with the deck I'm playing with, but like these computer enemies are fucking dumbasses. Like they put all their monsters always in attack position at like 500 attack while I'm summoning fucking Jinzo the fucking clown, and it's like beating the shit out of them.
The
and I'm
clown?
Like, Ginzo.
Oh, I was about to say Jinzo's not a clown. Wait a minute.
Not Jinzo. Yeah, the Gimp. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jinzo the Gimp.
But yeah, like I was just like mind-numbingly just like tapping on the screen, just keep going, and I'm like, why am I still fucking playing this? And it's just like crazy. He's like, how much money do people put into these games? So I went ahead and I tried to gauge a couple responses. So I got a couple responses on my twitter.com at @PepperTweetBoy. You should follow me there. I asked people this simple question, and the question was, to all my gacha gamers out there, I have a couple questions. What games with gacha mechanics do you play? Why do you play that particular game? And if you want to answer, because of course no one wants to be exact on this one, I said, if you want to answer, how much money have you spent on said game and why? And I got about 3 comments, and some of the people that have told me, for example, the person who commissioned my artwork for my profile picture and stuff, she told me that she has spent around $250 on Genshin Impact. Apparently 200 of it was to get her favorite husbando, and 50 of it was for the fucking battle pass.
Nice.
And it's sad because I actually kind of want to give Genshin Impact a try, but it's just like all I could think about whenever I like even bring the thought of like, oh, I want to give Genshin Impact a try because it looks really dope. It's like, wait, this game's gonna have gacha mechanics. And you know, and I looked up like a recent video about it. And I was like, is Genshin Impact still like recommended to play now? You know, after the hype and shit. And people are telling me that it's either you're gonna play this game as like a second job or you're gonna have to spend a couple dollars.
Yeah.
I haven't played it myself yet, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try, maybe on stream. And another one someone told me is that the same thing. I've been playing Grand Blue. He played it over 5 years and spent around $200. And let's see. Another one says that another one said Genshin Impact spent $400 for its characters I wanted. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like, I thought it was really hilarious when Gikudu was talking about how, like, he made this mission about, like, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on gacha games, and like he was trying to get a Stallful, because who doesn't want a Stallful, and a Saber pull. The Saber pull is at like a 0.1% pull chance, and the Astolfo was a 2% pull chance. He gets the Saber pull in like the second pull, and it took like him like a full hundreds of dollars just to get Astolfo, even though he was a higher pull rate.
You know, stuff like these that make you question why would anyone play gacha games, and asking them what about the game itself, like what do you do? Does it keep drawing you in?
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong question. A lot of people have their own psychological barriers, their own, I guess, intuition and willpower to go against certain things. Whether it's be a good example, cigarettes. A lot of people are having this stigma against cigarettes, nicotine, you know, all that stuff, saying, "Hey, it's bad because you know I've known someone who's had health issues because of it, or it does. I don't like the smell of it, yada yada yada." Right? But guess what? These companies know how your brain work. Before you were even born, studies, experiments, all these stuff that proves that, hey, like more than likely your simplistic brain, that all it is just a whole bunch of it's a whole bunch of combinations of four letters in whatever order, in order just to make your DNA. Then your DNA, you know, works with all your whatever it needs to work with the base that it needs to work with. And then you're affected with different things because something that I'm not affected with. Someone could be addicted to cigarettes, but someone else who could find cigarettes disgusting can get on Juuls, can get on vapes, can get on all that stuff. It's just a change of it's just another way to trick your brain into like, hey, this is good.
It's the same type of addiction, but with different flavors.
So these gacha mechanics, before even gacha games in and of themselves were a thing, people were like, don't even look at gacha video games. Look at casinos. Casinos have been running around with like the best way to keep you in, because casinos don't really care about how much money you spend. They care about how much time you spent in the casino.
Dude, look up interior, like not interior design, like what do you call like like when you're making a building, what's that called? The structure of a casino is meant for you to not realize how much time you're in it. Have you noticed like these casinos don't have windows?
Right.
The doors are like at the far end of the building. Right. There's like, it's crazy. Like they are purposely making these buildings to make you not realize how long you've been standing in front of a machine, just putting chips in and just pulling a crank all day. That's how these like buildings are made.
Well, even that as well, but they're trying to trick you. Not trick you, but they're trying to make sure that all these things are set up just right, so you don't actively think about how much money you're losing versus how much money you're gaining. And once when you're in there for an hour, you're probably like real headstrong. You're like, yeah, this is not gonna work on me. But once you start winning a little bit, it starts getting at you. The noises, the lights, everything starts getting at you, and
the big lights that says winner.
You basically become a lab rat, because you essentially are proving them right, all the studies right. And many casinos out there in the planet are trying to figure out different small minute details that they can change that will get someone like, I don't know, a random Moshmo who have never even thought about going to casino because his dad wasted all of his family's funds in the casino. They're trying to get more people in because more money for them means better business. They look better. They get more raises, all that stuff. Gacha mechanics are simple games that will do just that. Will pull you in, and that's the whole point in doing so.
And it's the thought about that exact same psychology work and stuff like that is being done at your phone, which is in your pocket all day, accessible to you, is pretty fucking scary if you think about it.
Yeah, it's all about a willpower thing. That's why like a lot of people who are going through like they're trying to pull away from like adult content because they have an addiction to it. One thing they do is like they definitely like delete every single app that will give them even somewhat close remote access that allows them to visit these sites with adult content, because that's one of the things. The phone is like one of those things that really connects you to a lot of things. It's in your pocket. It's super easy to do. So it's one of those things where those gacha mechanics, they work well on the brain. It is what it is. It's not that hard to say. It's like, yeah, I could see why people become whales, because they get hooked onto it. It's a drug.
Yeah, and there's a lot of games like that, and it's pretty crazy. Man, I just had this funny thought in my head. Well, it's actually kind of depressing, but it's like, can you imagine, like, those like Alcoholic Anonymous support groups and
Yeah.
stuff, and they also have it for like gambling and stuff. Can you imagine if like you go into this fucking meeting, everyone's like, all right, everybody introduce yourself, raise your hand, say your name and what happened. He's like, all right, hey, my name is Bill. I spent my kid's college fund on the crabs, and I ruined his future.
Hmm.
He's probably never gonna talk to me again, and I regret it drastically. And then the next kid gets up, hi, my name is Ted. I spent my family's fortune and inheritance to get a Stolfo pool on Fate Go, and now I'm here. I hope that we could get some support. And then the guy just look at him and says, "What the fuck is an Astolfo?"
That's the sad truth. And obviously, there have been cases where a parent finds out that his kid spent a bunch of money on
Oh fuck!
on loot boxes and whatnot, and they couldn't get most of their money back. It's sort of sad, which is why I've always liked Warframe, only because it doesn't feel as grindy compared to like other games. It feels more satisfying for the grind compared to any other games. But when the Warframe game developers realized they accidentally made a slot machine, they immediately like tanked, like they stopped working on the project, they scrapped it, and the guy who turned it into a slot machine, they basically give him a good amount of his money back, because they're like, hey, we realized we messed up, and this is something we don't want. This was like years
I
ago.
remember that Payday had something similar like that, and it got like a lot of negative feedback, and then they had to remove it, which is funny because I still have the loot box still sitting on my Steam backpack right now.
I've never played Payday, so what does that mean?
It's basically the same thing as like the crates you get in Counter Strike. You get the box, and when it drops from the server, then you have to buy the key in order to open it.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like that, but it's still sitting there in my inventory, and I don't think I could ever do anything with it. I can't sell it. I can't put it up in the marketplace. I can't trade it. It's just sitting in my Steam inventory forever and ever.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and flex in our horrible sins of gambling. What is the one game that you spent the most amount of money on? Now, let me clarify. Let's set some stipulations. I'm not counting, for example, MMO subscription fee. You need to pay in order to play. So I'm not counting that. I'm not counting DLC. I want to mainly focus on things that are not a necessity, but you still bought them because you wanted them. Primarily cosmetics or weapons.
Destiny 1, they had these things called treasure boxes, and they had this whole armor set. I think I spent like $40 in one day just buying them,
Oh.
just so I can get the whole armor set.
Oh.
And that was just that one. There's Destiny 2 as well. I mean, some of the bundles you get, you get like a view of what you're actually going to get, but a lot of the time you don't know what you're getting, especially if you get these things called what is it, like luminescent engrams. They change the name every year or every season. You'll get a chance at one of the cosmetics in the Ever store, so you have to buy silver, and then before it used to be like buy silver and you get this many engrams, so you'd get like 5 or 10 engrams, and then you'd open them and you'd hope you get something good, and next thing you know, you don't get anything that you wanted, so you get upset.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
That's really
that's
it.
my experience. I mean, I've had probably a couple more, like Pokemon Go.
Okay, yeah, that's a good. We could go from there.
Yeah, Pokemon Go. I've spent tons of money, and Clash Royale as well.
Oh, right.
Clash Royale, I spent.
Back in high
That's
school,
probably where that's probably where I spent the most money. Not Clash of Clans. Clash Royale is like the card game where you make a deck
Oh,
and then
right,
you
right,
put
right,
it
right,
out,
right.
and you're supposed to. Yeah, it's. I like it more because it's more interactive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you buy these chests, you get a legendary chest, you open up all these cards, and the next thing you know, you see the flashing colors for the legendary card, and you're just, yeah, I'm gonna get a legendary. You don't know which legendary you get, then you get one that you didn't want or one that you didn't need. So now you know, you're going back and you're going to spend more money. I've spent probably, I don't know, anywhere in the ballpark of 180 to $250 on that game.
Is that like, are you okay? So was that all at once, or was that like over a time
Over a
frame?
time frame, but
Usually
still
it's time frame game.
How much of a time frame are we talking about? Like years or like
maybe a
one
year.
year? Okay, over a year. Okay,
Yeah, but that's still $250 I could have spent on something else.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. What? The only reason I asked that because like with the Genshin Impact, for example, like people have been playing these games for years, so like I could kind of understand. It's like okay, if it's over a couple years, then I could kind of see where you're talking about. But yeah. All right, Marcos, do you have an example?
I've never played a console game, at least not to my recollection, where there are gotcha mechanics in it that I've actively fed on. Most of it was just mobile games.
Yeah,
two in part,
that's what I expect.
two
Yeah.
in particular was the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and another one was a Spider-Man game. That I feel like there was one more, but the only reason I've got into these games is because one of my friends is like, "Hey, I'm playing this game." Back in 2016, when I was in my technical college, um, I had a friend who was just sitting in front of me, and he was playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I believe the game was out for like 6 months at the time, and he started playing it. I started playing it, and we kept hyping each other up, saying, "It's like, dude, I got jewels from this event. I'm a roll," and then we would get this and that, and then you would guilt your guy, and it got crazy. So then I started joining other I forgot what the name is called for groups of people, like a clan of sorts. I can't remember what it was called, but a group.
Like a guild.
I don't know what the term they used in game was, but I'm just gonna call it a group, right? Uh,
Hmm.
or a clan, right? In this clan, you could join any clan. You just have to ask them to join in, right? Well, I managed to join one. They accepted me, and they were just pretty chill people. They were just playing the game sort of casually, and then more people who play the game a lot more seriously came in, and then people got tired of using the in-chat system. So I recommended, hey, how about Discord? Discord is legit. Like, was a couple months old when it was getting popular. uh that hype was there, getting popular. It was like a couple months old, and I'm like back in 2016, 17ish, and then I said, hey, we could just go Discord. I started working with it, and we went on to Discord, and then that's when our clan became the top 50 of clans. So I think on Kingdom Hearts Union Cross alone, throughout like 2.5 years, maybe just 2 years, actually. I don't think it was 2.5, probably like 500, something like that.
Mm, okay. Okay. Well, how about like cosmetics? Do you guys want to count that as well into the question? Because I want to
Cosmetics, yeah,
focus on mainly.
absolutely.
Okay. So assuming the same thing with the Destiny thing,
Yeah.
and okay, okay. As for me, I'm pretty good at that sort of stuff. I can't think of like any game on the top of my head. I guess you could count like Payday because Payday 2 used to have like a lot of like these like really small like DLC packs for like weapons and stuff. And this was before that transitionary period when we were going from like map packs to battle passes. So to me, I didn't think of it much back then. Like I was a high schooler and I loved the shit out of Payday, so I would spend like money on like every DLC pack that came out because that's how they would like drip feed extra content and stuff. I don't know if I want to count like examples like maybe the one or two times I bought like a season pass for like Rainbow Six, because with Rainbow Six, like that's a toughie of a question because mainly you buy the season pass because you want the operators, but if you play the game like consistently, especially from day one,
Hmm.
you have enough renown to get whatever character comes out whenever you want. But this was back when I used to play the game like almost every day, but I was still like a couple seasons behind on like getting every character.
Hmm.
Like by the time like the next season came out, I finally unlocked the last season's characters just by playing the renown mechanic over and over and over again.
Right.
So I'm pretty good at that sort of stuff. I've never really been a type of guy, except maybe like the one or two times I bought like a battle pass. No, I bought a maybe I bought the battle pass for like Warzone at one point, and then later like I just stopped playing it. But thankfully with like the Warzone battle pass, if you play the game consistently, you get enough COD points that you can just buy the next one when it comes
Right.
out. But I don't know. I've never been like ever even remotely tempted just to be like, I mainly want to focus on games where it's like, you could keep playing this game for another 40 hours or more to continue the progression, or you could just drop $10 and then you will just give you all the shit you need and then you go from there.
Right.
Like, I can't think of any games that I was ever put in that sort of situation. Like, Final Fantasy 14, is a very good MMO, and they have, and you still have the base like subscription model and stuff, but they do have like the mod station where like there's a lot of like these really pretty like outfits and things like that you could buy separately if you want to. And while I haven't gotten into it, there's a whole other fucking addiction that people get called Fantasia. Now, what Fantasia is in Final Fantasy 14, you get like 2 by just playing the main story quest. It's essentially like you re-roll your character, so you could be 1 minute a fucking a femboy, cat guy, and then later the next minute you want to be like, I want to be a fucking potato, and then you buy like a Fantasia for $10 or $8, and then you drink the potion, and then you could recreate your character. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but man, when you look up on the 14 forums and people say like Fantasia addiction, there will be people who will tell stories about like, dude, like I feel like I'm going crazy. I have to go to therapy because like every other week I want to change to a different race, skin color, everything, and I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, forget about making new
stop.
accounts.
Well, I mean, like, at that point, it's just, like, you want to run, like, 4 different accounts, but, like, that's just fucking crazy. But, yeah, I've been fairly good at that sort of stuff. I haven't been suckered into any of them yet. I'm trying to give, like, this Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links a try, but I'm hopefully won't get super suckered into, like, spending boatloads of money, because, like, to be fair, though, like, these games are not, like, win state games. You're not trying to beat it, essentially. These are games that you're meant to play, like, 5 to 10 minutes at a time, but then you could go through like long ass grinding sessions if you want to.
I'm sure people who are listening to this podcast, or I'm sure even with even us in this
There's
podcast,
some dude
trading card games. I've seen people who spend tens of thousands of dollars on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Trading card games, especially even more
I've
so
done it.
if they're in competitive.
I've done it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Even yeah. Without a doubt. It doesn't matter which card game you're in. You can be in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can be in Pokemon. Next thing you know, you're spending $200, $300, $400, $500. Next thing you know, you hit $1,000. You're like, Jesus Christ! Either you're doing it for money or you're doing it for the love of the game. Either way, you're going to be spending money and there's going to be a loss. Yeah. Unless you pull a card.
Like that's the.
Unless you pull a card that's worth $10,000, and you got yourself in the positive. But still, like, look at how much you actually had to spend before you got the $10,000 card, and whether or not it's going to sell.
That's true.
So
that's very true. I
mean, it's just like CS:GO. If you look at CS:GO has those packs that you open up, and you get a chance of getting these gun skins, and there's the third-party markets where you could sell it for however much money it's going for at that point in time. Like, I've seen gun skins that go for $200 because they're pristine, or some that go for $1,000, but then you have some that go for pennies on the dollar.
Yep. Yeah, there was a guy who was bringing up a good point where, like, there was a great video that Krobgat made about, like, basically, like, CSGO and skins and cosmetics and stuff like that. And this guy was, like, talking about, I feel like a fucking idiot when it's, like, I get into it, I suckered into it, I buy these keys to, unlock these skins, and these, like, you spend, like, $2 on the key, and, like, the skin that you get is worth then, like, a penny.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, you feel like a fucking moron,
Yep.
There have been cases like that where I actually got lucky. Now, granted, it wasn't a pull, but the best thing that came out of playing Players Unknown Battlegrounds when it was on early access was that you would get a shirt that essentially was like, original player here. And apparently through the marketplace, it was worth like $30. So I sold it and I bought Cuphead with it.
With regards to percentage-wise, when it comes to the whole gacha mechanics, loot box mechanics, like, you don't know the actual chances of getting it. I think back when the whole loot box scandal was going on, back when the UK was passing privacy laws, online privacy laws and regulations I think it was either in the UK or in the EU, in general, where companies needed to disclose in general what they're doing with their information. And I think after that, this is the time frame when this happened specifically, when they say, hey, you need to also say that whatever you're pulling from, you also need to give a percentage. So games would say, hey, you would get it was like less than 1% of a chance. Then some companies, in order to actually follow the regulations and bylaws, they would say even more so. It's like, hey, it's like 0.0064 in order to give you an
Yeah, no,
idea.
that's exactly how they do it. Yeah, at first, people like when I first heard people say like, "Oh, with the percentages, this, and that," I was like, "Oh, so these guys must have done the math." Like, no, the companies themselves, because of a law they passed, they have to tell you exactly this is the percentage of you pulling X item from this event or box or whatever.
Even more so, that was one of the reasons why I stopped playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. The second was that, and this was basically with any gacha game, where they really, really want you to spend your money to get in-game currency, the in-game premium currency, in order to roll whatever roll packs that they have.
Yeah, but it'll always be conveniently a little more than what the base amount would be, so you have to buy 2.
Wait, no. That's not what I was going for. What I'm mainly trying to highlight is, let's just say you used to, on the regular, drop like $20 a week, right? Just because, why not, right? You just got paid. Might as well spend a small portion of your check into a game that you play a lot, often on your phone, right? Let's just say you've been doing this for about half a year. Now, you stop playing out of nowhere. I don't know, maybe you got burnt out playing the game. Who knows, right? Then you pick up the game again. They have a whole bunch of new cast that comes out. Let's just say you play 3 months later, right? New powerful items that you can get, new more powerful champions, items, everything to help the game experience come better. Let's just say you get they're advertising their pack saying, hey, this week or for a limited time, you can unlock this new character that does this amount of damage, that buffs and debuffs enemies and all that stuff, right? Well, because you haven't been playing for 3 months and you have been spending your money in the past, what they do is, on your first roll opening a pack, you will get that advertised character or item or buff or whatever, because the company wants you to stay in their clutches so you can continue spending money. It happened to me a couple times in Union Cross, where in my clan on Discord, I'm like, hey guys, I'm back, and I'm gonna go pull from this because everyone's talking about of this new banner that's out that you can pull from, and I pulled from it. My first pull was the Kyrie that everyone was hyping for because it was a great support character. I'm like, yo, that's pretty freaking cool, and she also had an amazing secondary ability that's also RNG. Then I pulled again, and I got the same Kyrie with a different secondary effect, and everyone was going crazy. And then we all started talking about it. Like, yeah, this happens a lot when like you don't play for a bit. These companies know exactly
They
what
do
they're
that.
doing.
They know it's like, hey, we got the old fish again. Come on, throw shit at it. Come on, he'll bite.
Yep.
It took some time, but then I'm like, after those two things, I'm like, I don't know, because I saw the percentages. It was 0.0064 in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. But Marcos, tell me though, like, if you were able to pull that, just the thought, because that's what's gonna happen in your head. You're gonna be like, well, dude, if the chances are, that low, like, I can't win. But then you have that second thought, and that's like it's like, when you get hit, and then you get hit like the second time, thinking that the first punch was hard, but then you get like the follow up, the sequel, the return, the Empire Strikes Back of the combo move. That thought that kicks in was just like, but what if?
So I've never had that.
I've
never had that what if issue. Again, I'll bring it back to my original point. The only reason I've got into these games, like the Spider-Man game, which I spent a good amount of money on, and the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, was because a friend was playing it, and I normally played the game in order to help with them. And if you're friends with someone or in a clan with them, you can share in Union Cross your in the game they call it medals. Characters are called medals. You can share your medals. Honestly, one of the main reasons I pulled is, one, if I got it, just to flex on my friend who takes the game a lot more seriously, and two, if I did get it, just to share it. I never had the whole what if. I just pulled just to pull.
Right.
And especially in my clan, when I had the Kyrie, immediately when I got it, I shared it. I wasn't whole about like, oh, but what if I get it? I've never had the mentality. I've always had if I pull it, I pull it, and if I do, I'll just share it, because, like, honestly, like, that's why I'm pulling it. I've never got into a gacha game by myself, but I've never had that whole.
But maybe it's not you though, because maybe you're stronger minded. But like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who'll be like, oh, they'll be like,
heard of the lottery?
Yeah, the chances are really low, but it's
have you heard of the lottery?
It's not. Of course, it's like
What's the
that.
lottery?
It's sort of the same thing with like I remember asking a coworker about that. It was just like, "Hey, do you do gambling?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, do you play do you play the lottery?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Wasn't that technically
That's
gambling?
gambling.
Because you're
I'm
gambling.
pretty sure that's
It's
gambling.
gambling. Like you can't tell me that like just because you're not in a casino. If you tell me gambling is not like a location, it's an act. You know, it's a verb.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
poker isn't considered gambling. It's a sport because you're playing with other people who are trying to read into your how you play, your body language and whatnot in order to win. Sure, there's money involved, and you got to put money in to play in order for the game to be a lot more interesting. But other than that, that's you wouldn't call that gambling because you have control whether you win or lose to some degree. Unlike in blackjack, where you are gambling, even though you are playing against the house. It's not a lot like gambling, but I feel like it is gambling. But you can say it's not because you decide when you want to win or lose in some cases. But like playing slots, playing roulette. That's gambling. You have no
Yeah.
control of the outcome. You're just going to pray to RNGs that you get some money back, that you don't lose at all.
Well, what do you consider like luck mechanics,
What do you mean, like?
like RNG pulling things like
I honestly
that?
don't think it's luck. I honestly think it's already predetermined prior to if you pull it or not. Most of these cases, most of these computers, they just say, "Hey, here you go." When it comes to like gotcha mechanic gotcha games with those gotcha mechanics.
No, I wasn't talking
you're-
about those games. I was just talking about like poker, for example. Like you brought
Well,
that
poker,
up.
I wouldn't call it specifically skill. Like not skill. I'm sorry, luck. I wouldn't call it all luck because you need to have the skill to know and the experience to know. It's like, hey, well, I have a 8-9 suited, right? And last few hands, I saw a lot of low numbers, not a lot of high numbers. Maybe I'm aiming for a flush. Maybe I'm aiming for a straight. Hopefully, I'll get the 3 clubs that will give me a flush, or maybe I'll get 3 numbers so I can get a straight. This comes with experience. This comes with skill. This comes with just playing the game in general.
Yeah.
And when it comes to poker, you need to really read your opponents because maybe they bet too fast. Maybe they recheck their cards if they're checking it one more time before placing a bet. And they're trying to trick you into thinking that they might not have something or that they're bluffing, but they actually do have something. It's small little things. I think there was a show where Bernie Mac was on there where his kid says, one of my dad's tells is that he picks up a cigar and starts smoking and starts puffing on it when he has a good hand. And then after that, people started folding their hands every time he picked up his cigar. It's just basically tells. Sure, there might be some luck involved. Blackjack is a little bit more luck involved in that. With poker, you honestly decide if you want to call someone's bluff or if you want to bluff. You can have a hand that legit matches nothing. You only have aces high, and the person you're playing up against has 2 pairs of kings, but you bluff it enough where you're like, hey, like this guy believes that I have something higher because of the cards on the flop, on the river, on the turn. So sure, there is some luck, but I think gambling in general just takes more RNG based than most of these other games that involve actual skill, actual knowing how things work and all that. So that's my 2 cents on what I consider gambling or not. So the lottery, obviously people get crazy with the lottery. They're saying, oh, what if this, what if that? And it gets even crazier, right? The lottery chances don't change when the prize pool becomes $1 billion, right? People, I'm sure you guys already know. It happened a couple times in Florida when the lottery reached $1 billion, right? And people started going even more crazy to win.
Because I think the thought process that the more money I throw into it, it increases my chances essentially.
Which is sort of true, but the problem is that the gap in which the amount of lottery tickets you need
The
to buy,
amount of money you have to put in to even have a slight higher chance of winning is like
comparable,
almost not even worth.
a comparable.
Yeah,
chance.
it's not even obtainable. It's not even like possible at that
right.
point.
Let's just say I have a.
If you could throw that much money to increase your chances in the lottery, you have way more money than you should be doing to spend on that. You know what I'm saying?
Even with that, right? So let's just say the lottery right now, hypothetical, is 200 million, right? You have the same amount of traffic when it comes to people playing the lottery. It gets to $500 million. For some reason, people are like, hey, I'm going to start playing more because this is a big number. For whatever reason, much like with casinos, what they're trying to you do it to yourself though. But with casinos, how they really want you to forget about the negative consequences, only focus about the hypothetical good consequence.
Yeah.
You with the lottery, a lot of people do it to themselves, saying, "Oh, but what if?" Everyone's had their own, daydream about, "Oh, what if I win the lottery? I'll do this, and that." Right? Obviously, even though about 90 to 95% of all lottery winners end up either in the same position they were before they won the lottery, or even worse. But regardless, when lottery hit $1 billion here in Florida, there were lines at gas stations, lines at supermarkets that sold lottery tickets, at grocery stores that sold lottery tickets. It was huge only because they added an extra zero, because that makes it a whole, like they thought that would be a whole lot different, and they get put into this hype. It's almost like a disease that's spreading, because one guy's getting hyped into it's like, yeah, and then they convince you, it's like, yeah, maybe I should play, because that's a lot of money, and I'm only wasting $10, dude, to buy a couple tickets. But imagine if I win. It's the same thing, but with the lotteries even more so. Like, it's more adamant because it's in everyone's face. But that's why a lot of mathematicians tell you, like, hey, don't really play the lottery, because the chances of you winning the lottery are so high that you'll probably get struck by lightning first while you're going to play the lottery before you even win the lottery. And that's a statistics type of thing, or probability type of things. Like, it's the joke they say, the chances of you winning the lottery versus the chances of you getting struck by lightning while you're on your way going to buy a ticket. So those are the gacha mechanics. I don't really play for like randomized loot boxes or any randomized like stuff in general, but when it comes to like Call of Duty, I know what skin I'm gonna get. Like, if my friend is gonna buy an anime skin, I'm gonna buy an anime skin, because we gotta squad up with our anime right shield,
stand together
with our anime tracer packs, with our anime skins on our characters, because you know what? Because it's kawaii desu. All right.
Yeah, it makes good. It's also good content, so you make your money back if your video pops the fuck off.
That is true. That is true.
You see,
you can write it off as a tax return, or
as a tax write-off. Yeah. You see, accountant. Yes, I did spend all those V-Bucks, but have you seen the gains we made on those Fortnite videos? It was a business strategy. That's a gamer move, if you ask me.
That's why I really enjoy like a lot of people who like, I think Hunter TV is a great example, where every time a new skin comes out, anime skin or new weapon comes out, he makes content on it. Especially with anime skins, it's funny, it's great, and I love it. So content creation's super great, especially if you're playing.
Wait, doesn't he have a creator code too?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, that's another thing, though. Is like, well, you could make your money back by just having a creator code on Call of Duty, and then, like, oh, every time someone buys something on the store, you make a little bit of kickback out of it.
That's true. That's actually true.
Yeah, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
Of course, but if you do,
yeah, right, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about just in general when it comes to content creation, I'm sure you guys remember the whole loot box scandal with CSGO, where people were being paid to advertise certain websites, and then they're just there on the live stream just
oh no, it wasn't that they were paid. Are you talking about the thing with Syndicate and that other guy? I forgot his name.
It's them. They were promoting their own website.
Those guys, they owned the site. That was the problem.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about specifically, let's just say, some company that works with CSGO skins comes up to us and says, "Hey, DKM crew, I see you guys have been playing CSGO for a while. You guys have a pretty good following. How about this? You advertise our website. We'll sponsor you as well.
A lottery site.
And all you need to do is like act like a couple streams on a couple of your streams. Have a portion in there, maybe like 30 minutes max, where you have a moment where you're just pulling skins. You're playing the game. Once you're done playing a specific match, you go pull skins. Then for like maybe 10 minutes, you're pulling skins over and over and over again. Then out of nowhere, you're going to win a skin that's worth $1,000. And then you're going to act hype. You're going to go crazy. And because you're promoting it, you get to keep this skin plus whatever money we're going to give you, plus anything else that you pull from it, because we're giving you all these keys for free. And then people, obviously, these content creators influence their fans and say, hey, this guy got it in like 30 pulls. 30 pulls is not that expensive, dude. So they go into it because the the people who were sponsoring that channel, they just say, hey, just don't mention that you're gonna get a better chance on pulling skins. And it's always those who were like paid to like advertise the specific website for these skins and stuff. So that's what I'm trying to get at. But the whole syndicate thing and whatever, where they own the website themselves and they were advertising themselves, yeah, that was the worst of the worst.
That was hella awful. That was really fucking stupid, and it was pretty ridiculous. And they got away with it because technically it was legal, and that's pretty
Wasn't
stupid.
there some one guy from FaZe who did the exact same things, but he got into legal trouble?
I don't know anything about the FaZe gentleman, but I mean, the only FaZe thing I know aside from the meme is FaZe Jarvis, which, you know, he was a kid who, I think it was FaZe Jarvis or some FaZe kid who was like, he was showing off that he was using aim hacks for a video, but Fortnite banned them on Fortnite saw what he did and were like, because he was showing it off, like he's like, hey, I'm gonna try, you know, aimbotting to show it to people, and like Fortnite saw the video, I mean Epic saw the video, and they're like,
yeah,
okay, you cheated, we're banning your account, and then he's crying and he's like, oh, I want to get my account back.
Yeah, because he was an
and
idiot.
It's just like, dude, like, what the fuck, man? And I hate it when like people are like trying to give him the pass and be like, oh, he was just a dumb kid. He's like, no, dude, you can't. You have to be strict with the rules, because guess what? If you let this slide, what makes you think that everybody else wouldn't use that as an example to you know, keep shaking the rules a lot, you know?
What?
But yeah,
I will say though, when it comes to the whole loot box mechanic, I'm glad that like a lot of people are going like strong into the whole, hey, like it obviously got really bad with EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2, but
I think that was like the apex, because especially with the fact that you essentially have to play the loot box mechanic to even have a chance, essentially.
that you have to play
like,
at
that's the
least
frustrating
40 hours in game to unlock one specific thing. It's
and to get 3 items that you might not even be beneficial to you.
right, and like I think maybe it still is, but the most downvoted Reddit comment in all of the site's history was because of the whole EA defending the loot box mechanic, and it's yeah, it was pretty bad. And now obviously Battlefront 2 is an excellent game right now. It's like, wow, it's when it first started to all the nonsense it had to now what it's doing now, all the great content it has. Obviously after meta balances, after they balanced Anakin Skywalker, how broken he was, but the game is actually like really decent. Like I'm surprised I'm even saying that, because the game it's still alive to this day, and it's even bigger than it was when it first started, at least community wise, and it's positive community what's the word, feedback. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can only hope that EA gets hit with it. They've got hit with a couple of fines when it comes to their loot box mechanics in the EU, in the European Union, or in Europe.
Oh yeah, it was in Europe.
Do you remember?
Yeah, EA got hit with Battlefront 2. So what happened is that the loot boxes were so egregious that they took it to court pretty much, and the court proceedings,
they called it surprise mechanics, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cringy.
They took him to court.
That court process. I mean,
yeah, they took him to court, and then they changed the whole system after that, and that's why Jedi Fallen Order was so much of a deviant from loot boxes.
Well, I think it was a single player.
Well, I mean, it's a single player game. Jesus, can you imagine a fucking?
They would have thrown loot boxes into it. I mean, think about that.
Oh my god!
I'm talking about like recently that they're passing legislation, that they passed legislation to say, hey, you need to pay a fine to EA, and in this country, in Europe, whether it be Eastern or Western Europe, I don't exactly where it was. I'm pretty sure it was Western Europe, but they said, hey, you can't put these mechanics in your game while it's in this country. And obviously in Europe, soccer is a lot more, is a bigger sport compared to here in the United States, and they get a good amount of sales of these from microtransactions in Europe. So they keep pushing pushing against the government, saying, "Hey, listen, like this isn't like what you think it is. It's just a game mechanic. It is what it is, dude." And they're still trying to fight it. And even the CEO has said a couple times saying it was never meant to be nefarious because it isn't nefarious. Yada yada yada. So Europe slowly but surely entirely saying, "Hey, like we're not going to like allow this," and it's gonna hurt like EA a lot. Not only that, but like I can remember the last great sport. I can't remember the last great sports game that EA created that like hey like sure it was a yearly release, but they added new content, new stuff, able to replay stuff, like special mini games, special like all that, special stuff back in like 2012 maybe that might have happened, but not anymore. EA knows that this is their golden goose and they're not gonna get rid of it because, well, money. So I'm glad that there's active what's the word, protest on this, that it's even reaching government levels in a lot of countries. So I'm happy for that.
I've never seen a single complaint about like sports games having like loot box mechanics. Like whenever I look up like sport, like baseball, basketball, like games like that with the card system and stuff like that, right? Like I never hear anybody from those, because with Star Wars, that's because it's fucking Star Wars. A bunch of nerds are gonna get mad at that shit. I was mad at that shit, but I never hear a peep from anybody from like the NBA community, the fucking FIFA community, anything about it. Like it's just so accepted where it's kind of crazy. Like I remember one time I was watching like a trailer for an NBA game, and they never talked about a single moment of the fucking basketball game. They were talking about loot boxes and mechanics and casinos and fucking card shops. And like, oh, so they made a fucking gambling simulator, but they added a basketball mini game behind it. Okay, cool.
Maybe it's where you look, but the same people who were complaining about EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2, sure, that was the worst case of it all completely, but many cases where you saw families losing a good amount of money because a kid spent money on V-Bucks, there was a lot more cases when it came to FIFA in general. A lot of places in Europe, a lot of places here even in the States, people spent a lot of money in order to get Ronaldo as a character, as a playable character. It was even worse in these
yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like active protests. Like I'm talking about like people like going on and saying like, "Hey, we don't like this. We want you to get rid of this. This is actively hurting the game." I think
it might be a where you look type of thing, because obviously I've seen a lot of it.
Right.
I believe you. No, I believe there's some, but like, let's be completely honest. So, to be fair, though, like Star Wars versus FIFA, like, where do you think you're gonna hear more from?
Well, here's the thing, though.
I'm gonna hear more from FIFA.
Right. Here's a good example. Here's a good
right
reasoning for that. Star Wars, or better yet, much like I said it before, when it comes to EA FIFA's games, right? Soccer is a bigger game when it comes to outside of the States. I'm sure you don't care about sports games in general, but like all three of us, we enjoy Star Wars and what like the old school like Knights of the Old Republic, the old school Star Wars games like the original Battlefront 2. Those games were excellent. And because it's in America, everything is localized, everything is put into like a little into a megaphone. So you'll hear it more often. Which is why I believe if you look for this information, more of it will appear for you. So if you don't care about sports games, then you're not going to really see it all that often. I don't care about sports games, but because it's EA that's working with this, even 2K working with this, I look for it that these loop mechanics are even worse in these games, because unlike Battlefront 2, it's not a yearly release and you don't lose your progress. Where Battlefront 2, you keep all your progress. The game is still up. There's no Battlefront 3. People are still playing Battlefront 1. And regardless, you don't lose your entire progress. And everyone here on this podcast knows that FIFA 2021 is just basically FIFA 2020 with a fresh coat of paint on it. That's it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more of where you look. I've seen a lot of outcry for it. I've seen a lot more.
Okay. Yeah, I could believe that. All right, that's fair enough.
But I will say that like EA really screwed the pooch on a lot of things. Like even about I know we're talking about whole gacha mechanics for this whole episode, but just to lightly cover it, that they were hacked with EA got hacked and lost a lot of their source codes for like a bunch of their engines, a bunch of their games. They claim that it's not going to affect a lot of their that's not going to affect their games overall, multiplayer games, and no player information was taken. But once you see how these hackers got this this information, It was basically a hacker pretended to be someone who worked at EA at a basically at a higher position at EA, and say, hey, I lost my phone at a party that happened at this day, this time, and I just need you to give me access from this guest account. And the IT guys are like, yeah, sure, whatever, man, here you go. And they did this not just once but multiple times. I think the number's like 2 or 3 times. But doing that, they were able to attack and hack into EA, stealing almost a terabyte worth of information. I think the exact number is 780 gigs of information that they stole from EA. How EA let this happen is pathetic, and they lost source codes, actual source codes. Well, I wouldn't say they actually lost it completely, but now there's copies of source codes going around, and they're trying to sell it back, but I'm sure they already made copies to hand it out to other people. So EA really screwed the pooch on that. So I'm not sure what EA is going to do with all these titles that they hold. I'm not sure if Apex is going to be affected. EA published that, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm not sure if Apex got affected. I think the Cry engine, the Crisis engine, what was that engine called?
Crytek engine.
Yeah, there you go. The Crytek engine source was affected. That they took the source code from that.
Microsoft just bought, or it's rumored that Microsoft bought Crytek, the company,
Oh boy, from EA.
from EA.
Oh no. But yeah, if anyone in our audience wants to do any more information on this, yeah, EA really screwed the pooch. They're literally saying, yeah, it was us. IT really messed up on that, and we're working to see if like any personal info from our customers have been taken, yada yada yada. But it was pathetic. EA really screwed the pooch, and they keep screwing it up. Obviously, they're like Bethesda in a lot of ways as well, and it's just it's just sad, man.
I still think the worst case scenario of something like that is when when the whole like canvas bag was a thing. I know I hate to bring up a dead horse and beat it back down again, but the whole like, hey guys, we're sorry about the canvas bag situation. Please provide your information to this webpage. Oopsie daisy, we accidentally dox everybody's information to everyone's emails. Sorry about that.
It's like one of those Facebook posts that says, "Hey man, did you know if you put your email and password together in one as a comment, Facebook will automatically censor your password, and people will start posting the email they used to log into Facebook or their username. I'm pretty sure it's just email, and then their password, and they're like, "Hey, it didn't work for me." It's like, "Yeah, you idiot. Of course it's not gonna work." But
or like some people like in Twitch chat will be like, "Hey, Danny, just out of curiosity, what's your mother's maiden name?"
right. All right. So here's the thing.
Just curiosity speaking. By the way, what's your first elementary school?
So here's a little tip from Cybersecurity 101 when it comes to you learning like how to access the internet, what to look for. If you have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and you're constantly scrolling by it, randomly in your feed you will get a message or something, a post that says, "Hey guys, remember that one time, that one show you liked watching?" But they make it so they layer it so well. They put a good amount of frosting on it so they can hide the fact that you're actually telling them what was your childhood nickname, what was your this, what was your that. These are security questions. Obviously they don't say like mother's maiden name, but if they can get one out of the 3 security questions correct, they can still get in. So couple this with a lot of people use the same password for almost all of their things, and if it's not the same password, it's the exact same password but with like different symbols or a number in there. So people use that. It's these little things that keep adding on, and a lot of people don't really understand. It's like, hey, like, you don't have to comment on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, but a lot of people who are middle-aged who used Facebook end up getting hacked because, well, hey, you gave away your security password.
Yeah.
Because of that, it keeps going on. So, yeah, like, with the whole Bethesda thing that with Fallout, they actively put their personal information out there because Bethesda's like, oh, wait, we didn't think this far through. And that was pathetic.
Nope.
So, that was just...
It was cringe. Yeah, that was fucked up. Oh man, we talked a lot about gambling today. A lot of things. So,
look, if anyone wants to do gambling, you can. It's just fine. Just always, and this is the number one rule when you want to go to casino, just go in with like $200 that you have saved up, that you're like, hey, this is my like fun money because I want to do whatever I want to do with it. I can either spend it on a video game, a new video game, this or that, but I'll decide to go to the casino and only go in with that. Don't even take your wallet. Leave your wallet in your car even and park real far away from the casino and just go. If you lose your money, guess what? You won't lose any more money because you only bought $200 worth of whatever it is.
You won't lose all of it. You'll just lose some of it.
If you can't control yourself, it is what it is. But hey, if you win more money, cool, man. But don't go back to your car thinking if I keep playing, you'll win more. No. Those $200 was only meant for just that. That's it. But
I always wanted to be
gambling is.
I always wanted to be a dashing gambler who made millions of dollars.
Alcohol addiction. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? A lot of
with
gamblers.
The twirly little mustache, and I want to be Zeltzer from Final Fantasy VI and have my own fucking airship.
I want to be Seltzer from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Kenny.
Seltzer water.
I like the fact of his appearance in Kingdom Hearts 2, though. That was really weird.
Yeah, man.
Can't believe they put
Seltzer water into a video game. How weird.
I love it.
Yeah, that joke was washed out already. Anyways,
I will say though, like,
but
gambling is really dangerous for a lot of people. You can't
Oh,
control
gambling
themselves,
is it's a big issue. I mean, my
I'm already going to
stepfather
gambling.
my stepfather had that issue. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Oh.
It happens to the best of us, man.
Oh, I
Everyone
know.
has their own vices. My vice is the homies' cake, man, because all my homies, they caked up, man. They caked up.
Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon.
More like throughout the whole week, because they don't give a hoot.
Well, I know mine is video games, without a doubt. Always will be.
One thing I've learned about people who wanted to get into video game development, and I'll make this quick.
I remember when I wanted to get into video game development.
Well, I see it a lot more like with
Still
people
possible.
who wanted to get into like GameStop, that wanted to work for GameStop, because when we were kids, we wanted to GameStop.
Dude, I
Oh, yeah.
lived that dream. I lived that dream. I can tell you all about it.
Right.
And it was a
But
nightmare.
just to set down the foundation, right? Everyone's like, dude, GameStop's so great. I'm always there with my boys. We're having a great time.
Yeah, we're always
People are going
talking
in there.
shit.
The
Yeah.
employees, we talk great with the employees. The employees look like they're having a grand old time every time.
I like to
we
open
talk
up the
to
cases for the games and come inside them and close it up and do it again. They call me the master baiter, you know
them.
what I'm
Right,
saying?
but here's the thing though. Like once you leave GameStop,
You
You
leave.
leave.
You go home.
but
Yeah.
these employees.
You think you could really be at GameStop for 8 hours? Fuck
No
no.
way.
I barely want to be there for 10 minutes.
Now, especially now, back in the day, GameStop was the shit. Like when
Yeah,
there
that's
was
true.
still cartridges and shit like that, and you can go buy an N64 game, or when GameCube was big and PS2 and the original Xbox.
I was so
mean,
glad that I bought like all the like GameCube games before like they were starting to
Oh
phase them
my
out of the GameStop,
goodness!
because
Have you
GameCube
seen how
games are getting
expensive they are now?
Yeah,
they're
they're getting fucking
stupid expensive.
Mhm. Yep.
Remember when
Oh,
GameStop really tried pushing in 2020 when the whole world crisis was happening, and they said, "Hey,
You mean when the
also
Plague Inc. game started happening? Yeah.
I really liked how Plague Inc. was like, "Hey, we get that our game is based off destroying the world, but because this whole global crisis is happening, now we're gonna do the opposite, save the world." And I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." I was always wondering with Plague Inc. when they're gonna do a reverse where you have to cure a
Gonna pull an Uno card.
right. So I'm
Yeah, but
glad they
I
did
just
it.
find it funny. I just find it funny because now we're playing real life Plague Inc.
That's true. Well, I mean now
Because now you can go in and like put in you click virus and then you hit human malware and then you start the human malware.
human malware is technology, dude.
Human malware is us.
Well, I like to look at more like how the Matrix described it, like with the Agent Smith. It was just like, do you know that humans are very similar to that of a virus? We created the Matrix to be this perfect utopia for everyone to get whatever they want whenever they want it, but they rejected it, and because of that, it collapsed upon itself. Humans are nothing more than viruses.
You know what's
More
funny?
virus.
Morpheus.
You know what's funny? People don't.
God, I
this,
love the
this,
Matrix.
this is a Mandela effect. For those who don't know what the Mandela effect is that it's sort of like the telephone game, but different, where you'll misremember something and you're like, wait, was this right? But then your friend, and then all his
I
other
can give you an
friends
example.
say,
Oh, yeah,
hey,
they all say it's
I
different.
remember it the exact same way. And then in your
Oh, yeah.
mind, you have it says like, oh, it's like this now. But many people, then they also get reaffirmed, the friends. They're like, all right, so it is like this, but you don't check the source material. A good example is with, what's this guy's name? The Mr. It's a kid's show. It was a kid's No.
Listen.
I was going to say... I was going to say...
He was a Vietnam vet. He was a...
So the Mandela effect, all I'm going to say is about it, I'm going to pose the question. Does anybody remember the Monopoly Man with the monocle?
Yeah, I was about to bring that
Monopoly
example.
What?
The Monopoly Man with the monocle.
He never had a monocle.
Never had
I
a
don't
monocle.
think he had one.
But we all like visually think we all did.
Yeah.
You know, I think the best example of the Mandela effect, at least the one that I remembered, like was like a big deal. Berenstain or Berenstain
Oh yeah.
Bears.
Yep.
That shit was.
So number one has to be when Darth Vader was responding to Luke he was responding a question, and everyone assumes he says, "Luke, I am your father," but he didn't.
Okay.
He was responding to a question saying, "No, comma, I am your father."
I get, to be fair though, at least in the defense of that, if you just say no, I'm your father in like that, no one's gonna get the reference. So of course they add Luke, I'm your father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's
That's
still
not the
wrong.
real reason why it happened, but I can see where you're coming from. Yeah.
No, but the thing is though, is like when people are doing the whole Luke, I'm your father, it's because like they're referencing that scene. If I'm fucking around with Kenny and like, oh haha, Danny, you're so you can't beat me, and like, oh no, Kenny, I'm your father. It's like that doesn't make any sense. But if I say Luke, I'm your father, it's like, okay, that's why like you count like misquotes as like the Mandela effect,
that is not a mixed quote. It's the actual Mandela effect. When a lot of people always say, "Luke, I am your father. Luke, I am your father,"
they think that's how the movie
that is the Mandela effect, and the whole what you just outlined. I would say more for it's a stronger argument for the "I am your father" part, but again, right with the context, the Darth Vader was responding to Luke.
You killed my father, and then he says, "No, I'm your father."
So that's what I'm saying. Like that is a big example of the Mandela effect. But another good example is like for songs, very small things like someone saying
misheard lyrics,
right? Misheard lyrics and stuff like that. People, right? So that is one of the greatest parts of the Mandela effect. People just forget, but. Yeah, I forgot how we got here. I
like the origin story of it. Like, why is it called the Mandela effect? Oh, it's because Nelson Mandela, he got arrested and died in prison in the 80s. No, he was alive. He didn't die, but that's where the Mandela effect came from. Yep.
I forgot how we got here.
Well, we were just changing up the subject.
Yeah, because it's all been about gambling this entire time.
We've been talking about these gacha pulls. Listen, guys, I'm gonna be honest. So I've been secretly putting money into Duel Links right now. I'm hopefully getting the pulls that I want.
It's either Duel Links,
because that's my sin. You see, it all goes back to sin. I have self-deprecation. I hate myself, so I talk about shit while I'm doing the bad thing.
Let me explain to you why Duel Links was so successful and why it is what it is. So I wanted to say this at the very beginning when you brought up Duel Links, but just to make this my final point, I guess, Duel Links became popular because in Meta Yu-Gi-Oh! Before it came out, games lasted no more than 5 full turns because usually all your combo pieces was out, all of your monsters was out, and honestly, the only reason you won was either because someone surrendered because their combo went wrong and they already knew they were going to lose, so they just surrender, or they
so there's some dude on the other side of the table like, all right, I'm gonna do this and that and pendulum summon this. Fuck, I didn't get the card I need. Fuck it, I surrender. Fuck this game. And he just walks away.
It happens.
I believe you. No, I definitely believe it.
Or better yet, someone's doing a combo play. In the middle of a combo play, they just summoned a monster, or they just played a spell that is very essential to their combo play. Very, very essential. And someone plays a hand trap that negates and destroys that card, and they go, well, I guess I had my turn. Hopefully I can make it back from this.
I remember.
Oh yeah, I hate when that happens, man.
Kenny, was the field spell Spellcaster's Village or something like that? Was that the card? It's like you can't activate spell cards unless like, you have
a spellcaster on the field.
I remember that. I was like, okay, so I lose. I can't win. I fucked. Because I run Ancient Gears. I'm fucked. I can't do anything at that point.
So here's the thing.
I was like, all right, I lost.
When it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh, it was what it was. People didn't like pendulums when Master Rule 3 came out. It was annoying. How hard it was to play up against it. So you had to fight. Like, you had to. What was it? If you can't beat them, join them. So a lot of people left Yu-Gi-Oh or ended up playing pendulum decks. But Duel Links changed the game where, hey, instead of having five slots for your monster and spell and trap zone, we're gonna make it 3, and we're gonna change the life points to 4,000, and we're gonna change how many cards you have in your deck. And that was such a big boost to Yu-Gi-Oh because the meta is different. Because you have a smaller board, you have character effects, the meta's completely different, and that's why Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links became so popular, and that's why I can appreciate Duel Links. But now they're releasing cards, they're the Exo summons, the Synchro summons, and I don't think they're on pendulums yet. I don't think they'll ever get on pendulums. But there are some cards that even Konami says we're never going to put this in Duel Links because we know how it worked on the OCG, we know how it affected the TCG, and we're not going to do it because it's going to be a waste of time, and it's going to be broken when we put it into Duel Links. So the meta's different, and I like it, but I've never gotten into Duel Links, to tell you the truth.
I did for some time.
I'm trying my best to get into it now. I mean, like, it's just one of those fun games you can kind of just like drool from the mouth and just be like, all right,
you can hit auto duel. I mean, you don't even have to do anything.
You can like, I tested this out. I went to the bathroom while I was at the urinal. I put auto duel on, washing my hands, and I already won the duel. Or like when I was like talking to a coworker while I was on break, I would just start like auto dueling while I'm like having a conversation with like, oh yeah, I'm just winning duels just so I could get the fucking gold and gems and shit like
against
that.
Computers?
Yeah, because right now, because basically the first like hour, probably like multiple hours is just you like unlocking series and shit like that. It's
the only way you
mainly
can,
mission focused.
Yeah, it's the only way you can really like continue. You can't even really go into competitive unless you feel you're ready. Like if you have like an established deck that you think is good enough, then yes. But most of the time, like, you're going to be playing against NPCs, and when you're playing against actual people, you can't auto duel. You have to actually duel, and you have to think too, like, because you're playing against somebody else. So you need to counter their counters to counter the counters, so that you can counter their counters to counter.
One thing I will say about YouTube that they did so well that's gotten me like hooked on to like their new additions to whatever they added is the whole YouTube Shorts, where they have like 30 seconds, like up to like a minute of a small clip of anything, right? And I've been watching a lot of like Duel Links on Shorts, and people making memes out of it, where most of these duels don't last a minute because, well, they edit it that way, or because someone surrenders because they messed up a combo play, or they OTK'd or FTK'd. So it's like, I'm sorry, for those who don't know, one turn kill or first turn kill. It's fun seeing the Duel Links competitive or just casual, but they play like somewhat competitive decks. It's fun, and even some of these duelers, the characters you pick, their what do you call it? Their abilities are pretty busted. But yeah, I enjoy watching Duel Links. I've just never played it.
It's all right. It's kind of like dumb, stupid fun. I only got back into it because I was watching a streamer play for a little bit, and I'm right now actually watching the Twitch streams of people playing Duel Links right now.
I think the only thing I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh more than any other card game is because it doesn't have a resource system, like how Hearthstone has the mana, Pokemon has energy cards, so on and so forth.
I to this day have never played a single game of the Pokemon TCG. Ever. I had cards when I was a kid, but I never played them.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's confusing.
It's even more confusing now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a confusing.
I mean, because there wasn't like an anime or something to kind of like gauge and be like, oh, this is. But assuming, assuming we're not talking about Duelist Kingdom Yu-Gi-Oh.
Let's just talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. Period. Just the first season. I summoned Blue Eyes White Dragon. Wait a minute, where are your 2 tributes?
Screw you, guy! I do what I want.
Wait, let me place up.
You summoned
let me place down a face-up trap card and activate it on that same turn.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, face down attack position monsters. Fuck that. Or how about this though? This one's my favorite. Oh, what's that? The fish dude? You're gonna summon the moon and bring in the tide? Well,
I
fuck
summon
you.
a
I'm gonna summon my
statue.
stone golem, and he's gonna stab the moon,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
it's gonna be
So
destroyed.
stupid, dude.
Guess what?
And it was just
I'm
like,
a fuse a warrior with a dragon. And guess what? I have a mechanical turtle that catapults things. And guess what? You know what I'm gonna do? Even though I have no chance of beating your monsters, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna destroy that one monster in the sky by catapulting my dragon warrior thing over and destroying everything. And guess what? Because that castle fell on top of them, they all died. And that's since you have no more monsters, I attack you directly.
Don't fucking question
I
it,
just-
dude. It's
can I
fucking
just-
anime. It makes sense.
Can I
No,
just put out there? Have you guys seen the original fusion type monsters that came out for Yu-Gi-Oh
They're
and how
garbage.
lackluster?
Hot.
They're crap.
Hot garbage.
Absolute.
Oh, they're fucking
Too many
garbage.
actual
resources.
crap.
Yeah.
Too many resources. When Jin,
Very
the magical
specific monsters, and then the attack is crap.
when Jin came out, you know, the green genie in the lamp, when he had 1850 attack points, everyone was going crazy to get him, right? Then they
Yeah.
started
Oh
releasing
my
monsters
God.
with 1900 attack, and they're like,
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
even
it was-
more.
Yep.
It was crazy. Yu-Gi-Oh! Original Yu-Gi-Oh! Was just like crazy. Even now, like you can play casually, of course. Like that same mentality of that same concept of you like the where you can just make up rules as you go, as long as it makes sense, right? Like, hey, I do this with this card because this card says that it's this type of monster, and its lore says that it does this, so I'm gonna mix it with that. And there's actual like Yu-Gi-Oh! Games where like on the TCG.
Oh, that's like
It's not official.
it's like playground rules.
Yeah, but it's playground rules. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's speed. There's a thing called like speed
duel.
speed
Speed
dueling,
duel.
which I never.
Which
yeah,
is similar to Duel Links, but it's its own thing. I like it.
Right. Right.
Well, here we are.
Right. Wow, yeah. So I think the common theme we've noticed is that pulling seems to be the thing. Whether it's pulling banners, gotcha characters, Astolfo, fucking whatever the hell you want. I think the constant theme we got today is just pulling shit and putting money into a money pit and hopefully pulling things that you
I
want.
came full circle because we ended up with talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which in order to get these Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you got to pull from packets, structure packs,
Yep.
tins.
Yep.
I miss fucking tins, man. Those are
They
the
still
days.
have tins.
Yeah, they're just not.
No, I know,
They're not
but
worth-
not as common. Like
They're not. No, well,
no, back
yeah,
then.
yeah. I see what you mean.
No, I mean, like I was just saying, like the way I got into Yu-Gi-Oh was through my cousin. Like back in the day, like the only other person I played Yu-Gi-Oh with was my cousin. You know, we didn't know about like the meta or anything like that. We just put whatever card was basically we did the Joey Wheeler way of making the deck essentially. And yeah, it was just fun. Man, I still remember like Kenny and me used to go to this card shop just every day. Man, times are simpler where we would just go there every day, and I was relearning the meta and stuff. I tried to explain to like my coworker like how Yu-Gi-Oh's meta has changed as someone who's never played Yu-Gi-Oh. I told her that like by the time that like pendulum summons were a thing, I told her that essentially whenever you play Yu-Gi-Oh and you're the second person, essentially the guy across the table is just going to be jerking off and just looking at you right in the eyes
Yeah.
as he's
And
doing
then he's
it.
gonna jizz
Because
right
he's
in
just
your
going to be
eyes.
doing all this shit in front of you, and he's just going to do it, and you're like, God, I hope he just fucking comes already so we could go already. You know what
I
I'm
will
saying?
say though, to your comment about tins and stuff, they still exist. It's just a lot of people don't buy them because the cards that are in there are not worth as much. They normally go for like promotion packs and all that stuff. That like, hey, you'll probably pull this Blastoise Piplup combo that comes out, or maybe this shiny
Well, let's
Charizard.
keep it to like, but keep it to like to Yu-Gi-Oh
Oh,
related
Yu-Gi-Oh!
because
Yeah,
like
same thing too.
I'm
same
gonna
thing
look
too.
up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tins still
first
exist,
tins,
but
'cause, like,
people tend to avoid structure packs unless they like, or structure decks unless there's like a specific card that is only included in there as of now, and they'll buy the entire set in order just to get that one card. That's really it.
yeah, I'm looking up at like Google Images. I definitely remember some of these boxes, like definitely the one with Kaiba and Yugi. But yeah, I think we should go ahead and wrap. I think we should go ahead and wrap from there. You guys have any closing thoughts before we go?
Just learn to control your urges, man. No, lead you
Gambling
to,
bad. Gambling bad. People good.
But flexing
talk to
on your
people
kids
a
because you
lot.
got the holographic Yu-Gi-Oh card you always wanted. Definitely
Dude, absolutely.
To be fair though, I mean like that's gonna be a hell of a flex. You
Especially
know
when
what I'm saying?
Charizard EX was coming out and you were a kid in elementary school. You're like, look what I got. And you were the talk between all your friends.
Wars were caused because of it.
Basically.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, Kenny, what were you saying?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Right. You just said gambling is
Yeah.
bad. All right. Yeah, I think overall, I think that, you know, if you find these games fun, that's good. But for the love of God, don't take out a second mortgage out of them because, like, just don't. You know, just promise, you know, not promise, practice safe budgeting financial decisions. And I know that as a gamer, that is very, very hyperbolic.
As a gamer.
But as a gamer, you know,
I'm gonna say the gamer word.
I'm gonna say it. I got the Fortnite socks, dude. I'm not making that up. A coworker of mine gave me Fortnite
What a
socks.
flex.
It was the funniest shit.
Flex.
Yeah, I know, dude. When I bring the homies home and they see me take off the shoes and see the Fortnite
Waterworks.
socks, fucking pool, fucking pool. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening and watching to the DKM podcast. Just so you guys know, we have our stuff available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere that you can listen to your podcast streaming services. We also have a Discord server, which is the link is down below into the description or wherever the description of wherever site you're listening to. Join us. We would love to have you guys on here. We would like to know what you guys think about the show, how we can improve it, any guests you guys want us to have on, any particular topics, because we would love to see, you know, we really want to tap into that community and figure out, all right, what do our listeners want us to talk about. So we greatly appreciate you guys to show up and be there. And I think that's all we got to say. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. And pray to RNG Jesus.
Bye.